Welcome to the Words to Empower podcast, featuring Bishop Frank Stewart, pastor of the Acts Ministry in Conway and North Little Rock, and now Pastor Stewart.
That's what Israel wanted to do. They wanted to go back into bondage. They loved bondage. They loved it. They loved it. They loved the thing that brought about slavery in their lives. They loved it. And sometimes, brothers and sisters, it's hard for us to see this. So like, I can't believe anybody would do that. But just think about it. Put it on our level. Bring it down where we can look at it. We can taste it. Bring it all the way down to the lower shelf today. And what I'm saying to you is this. That sometimes we're doing things that create bondage in our lives. But we love to do it. We love that level of bondage more than we love our freedom. We love that bondage. And you just watch that bondage, and it's a bondage of addiction. Now let's not just count drug addiction. There's all kind of addictions. There's food addictions. There's emotional addiction. There's relational addictions. All kind of addictions in the world. People can almost get addicted to anything. There's sports addiction, where people just so addicted to something, they just gotta have it. They can't go without it, my brothers and sisters. So it's important to know all kind of bondages, all kind of enslavement and traps. And the Bible has told us that we should buy the truth, sell it not, because when you buy truth, you're purchasing your freedom. Let me say that again. Only when you buy truth are you purchasing your freedom. Freedom cannot be achieved without truth. You will know the truth. Knowing the truth will make you free. So, talked about that, and I want to go to Exodus before I go into the New Testament and deal with Jesus in St. John chapter 8. Look what Exodus chapter 16 says. Chapter 16. And it says, the second month, the 15th day of the second month, after they departed out of Egypt. After they parted out of Egypt, the second month, the Bible says, and verse 3 says, and the children of Israel, what do? They complained against Moses and against Aaron in the wilderness. I promise you, brothers and sisters, where they are in the wilderness was better than Egypt. It was better than Egypt. How could anything be good to you when your children blood and children bodies is floating on the Nile River because they had to be executed because of the insecurities and because of the fear of Pharaoh? But they said, oh, we was good there. No, watch this. Watch this. It says that the children of Israel said to them, oh, that we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the pots of meat, and when we ate bread to the full. For you have brought us out in this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. Now that's a pretty bold statement. We know God's gonna deal with these leaders and these people that are murmuring and complaining because only Joshua and Caleb are going into the promised land. But when we look at this, their picture of bondage is so drastically different. When they looked at slavery in Egypt and bondage, they said that they sat by pots of meat, and when we ate bread to the full, pots of meat with all kind of meats that we wanted to eat when we were into slavery. Well, that's a small compensation for slavery. That's a small compensation having your kids killed and destroyed. But it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. To choose that meat that's causing their children to be destroyed. They was willing to do that. And I want to talk about this because when you get so deep in sin, so deep in degradation, there are some choices And there are some decisions you'll make that just be, and when you look back over it a month later, a year later, when you come out that situation, you look back over it, it's just overwhelming and heartbreak. They said in Egypt, we had the best food in slavery. Not only did we have the best food, we was able to sit and eat until we was totally full. We ate bread until we was full. I mean, we had no room to store the bread. This is the Israelites talking, and they're provoking God. They're provoking God to wrath. They're provoking him. They're causing him to fear. Causing him to fear. But the one thing you got to understand, that you must understand about even the leaders that was leading the children of Israel, Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, the leaders, especially Moses, he understood what needed to happen. He got it. Okay, he got it, and he kept interceding and kept praying to God for these people. That's what he's doing. He's praying for the people of God because they have a love affair with bondage. Now, in Exodus chapter 32, this shows you something else. This is incredible when we look at Exodus chapter 32. It says that when the people saw that Moses delayed coming down from the mountain, the people gathered together to Aaron and said to him, "Come, make us gods that shall go before us. For as this Moses, we do not know what has happened to him. The man that brought us out of the land of Egypt, we don't know what has become of him." Aaron said to them, "Break out the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, your sons, you and your daughters, and bring them to me." Wow. All that God gave them in Egypt.
Stay tuned for more of Frank Stewart. And now for some special announcements.
Thanks for partnering with the Acts Ministries. We value your service and your donations. That's why we've made it easy to make contributions to support our ministry. Simply go to your web browser and click the search bar and type in actsministriesonline.org. Then click Donate Online. It's really that easy. For mobile giving, text the amount you wish to donate to 501-302-4242. That's Simple Give.
And now, more of Pastor Frank Stewart.
God calls the Egyptians to open up and just freely give. Just give. God did that. Now they take what God gave them. And they build this golden calf. Wow. Isn't that something? So they got this golden calf. They're working on. You know why? Because there was things in their history, things concerning idolatry, that even though they didn't physically take one from Egypt, they had it in their minds. Now, that's so important. They had it in their minds. They had this golden calf. They had this bondage in their mind. It was in their minds. So even when they went somewhere else, what was really in them, this love for bondage. Notice how many times God kept getting them out, and they kept going back. God get them out. They would murmur and complain. God bring the heat. They would murmur and complain. So now they're building in the physical what is already on the inside of them. This thing is already inside of them. And they're building this golden calf. Wow. Off of the things that God gave them. That's quite astonishing. But see, when slavery gets so deep inside of you, slavery is so deep that it'll cause you to start doing things that you never thought you would do. But that's what's going on here. Slavery is deep in there, not just in their brains, it's in their subconscious. It's in their subconscious because now we see them subconsciously transporting what was in bondage, in slavery. Now how you gonna worship something that was your form of bondage? How are you gonna worship something that was a symbol of your imprisonment? That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Because when you start talking about freedom, brothers and sisters, we're not just talking about 1776. We got to go way back to understand why we are where we are today. We got to go way back to understand what is actually happening in our streets and why it is happening in our streets. Because we're dealing with freedom, and freedom can never be accomplished without knowing truth. Wow. You can write it down. I mean, you can write it down. You can make it into a beautiful speech. But that doesn't mean you know it. And that's what that word gnosko here means. It means to experience. It means to know. It means to know to the point where there's a giving of birth. And that's why we see that word in the Old Testament, the word know. In the Old Testament, we see it because the Bible said Adam knew Eve. And because he knew Eve, then she conceived and bore a child, and then another child came. See, that's what it's talking about, knowing. Because we can say a whole bunch of words. That doesn't mean we know it. I don't mean we know it. Think about it. I want you to just think about that for a minute. Now, I'm going somewhere. Because you can't understand. You can't understand what is happening now unless you understand the spiritual. The spiritual. What was going on spiritually, what happened in the book of Genesis, what happened with the children of Israel, what happened with Adam and Eve, the reason why slavery, bondage came into the world, the reason why we don't have freedom. Some things happen, and we have to be able to talk about it. I always want to keep your eye, now keep one eye really focused on 1776 as we're moving to where we are. This is a holiday weekend. We've set aside a weekend to celebrate the 4th of July. We celebrate this country independence. Now, when you look at that, you look at the celebration of it. Just think about that. In that celebration, we're reminded what the Bible says. We're reminded the Bible talks about truth. And you cannot untie freedom's shoe latches if you don't know truth. Gotta know truth. If you don't know truth, you can't do it. You can play with it. You can say it, but I'm talking about knowing. Let me give you this example. In the preamble, we talk about knowing that all men were created equal, endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Freedom for life, freedom to have life, freedom to pursue happiness, and liberty. But even when those words was written, and the writing of those words that was supposed to direct a way a nation should behave and a way a nation should believe, yet and still, right up under that Constitution, up under that preamble, we were going to see the enslaving of others.
For mobile giving, text the amount you wish to donate to 501-302-4242.
The Acts Church in North Little Rock is located at 1224 Franklin Street. Morning Glory begins at 8 a.m. on Sunday mornings. Sunday school begins at 8:30 a.m. And for a powerful word, Join us at 9:30 a.m. for our morning worship service. Bible study is each Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. For more information, go to actsministriesonline.org or give us a call at 501-329-2055.
Thank you for tuning in to the Acts Ministry Podcast. The Acts Church is located at 1423 England Street in Conway and 1224 Franklin Street in North Little Rock, Arkansas. Tune in each day to hear an inspiring word from Pastor Frank